Hey, thank you everybody for joining, and for everyone that's been waiting. I just wanted to start really quickly with a landing pad, and as you may have seen from the YouTube thumbnail, um, I'll be doing a live sketch of uh, uh, the SpaceX Starship today. And I just gathered some images from Pinterest, and I just wanted to show this really great workflow of starting with landing pad for reference images, and then opening up Gravity Sketch to continue working. And so you don't really need to save images to your local files; you can just save them here. So I have a few folders open here, but if we go over to the space folder. And then if you go ahead and open up the SpaceX Starship folder, here we have basically just some images that I went on Pinterest, downloaded them, and just dropped them in here. And so this is in my web browser. And so when I open up Gravity Sketch, you'll actually see in your reference images, there is a cloud folder where you can access images that you've saved on the cloud or on landing pad. And so if we just navigate back through the files here, I can just show you around a little bit as well. If we go to the Puma shoe folder, I have some reference images here from when I gave that live. But you can also see that we have the Gravity Sketch model as well. And so you can store your model in the cloud as well. And then if you're hopping between different headsets, or for whatever reason, all you have to do is just make sure you're logged in to the correct login in Gravity Sketch when you fire it up, and you should be able to have access to your cloud files. So as you can see, we're just looking at the Puma shoe that was made a few weeks ago, and all the reference images in that folder, and then you're able to access all of that when you open up Gravity Sketch. So without further ado, I'm just going to make sure Gravity Sketch is set up and running. We're just going to get started. So I'm going to move back through these files first. And by the way, if any of you are new that's joining today, feel free to ask any questions during the live, and I'll try my best to answer them. I'll be monitoring them as I'm going along. So let's see here. And so I'm just firing up Gravity Sketch, and I'm going to see if I can share this screen. So I'm going to swap my screen here to Gravity Sketch. And so what you're seeing right now is the lobby when you first open Gravity Sketch. And if you look over to the left here, you'll notice that I have my space folder and my SpaceX folder. But see, right now there's no 3D models in it right now. It's just the images. And so, but once we actually start a new sketch, we'll be able to see those. So if we go to reference images here, and we go to cloud reference, and go to SpaceX, our reference images will populate right here inside our reference images folder. And so we can just grab those straight out of there. I'm just going to bring them all in. Might not use all of these, but just bringing them in case we need them. Just positioning those off to the side. And then I'm just going to anchor these. I'm going to turn on the world axis. And then I think what I'm also going to do is smooth head cam there. It's a little bit easier to see. All right. Just make sure this is going well. There we go. All right. So, just as a recap, basically just went on Pinterest and
found some images, put it in my landing pad account, and then I was able to access that folder right inside of Gravity Sketch because they were saved in the cloud. Which, if you want to know which folder that is, it's this one that says Cloud Reference. So all of these folders that you see here, Boba Fett, GS, Gabriel, these are local files in my local file system in my computer that I've created for reference images. You'll see the cloud one here. And then these are all folders that are in my landing pad account. So if I go in here at Automotive, I have just one image there, Product Design. I have my images for the Puma project. So it's just a really useful way of navigating and accessing your files a little bit more seamlessly when you're working. So without further ado, let's just begin. So today, so I've decided to make the SpaceX Starship, and it's going to be a quick one. It's not going to be 100% all the way down to the last detail, but I just thought in light of the test launch yesterday that I think was canceled or was postponed, just thought it'd be a cool thing to do. So just found some reference images online, some from the SpaceX website. I think some of these might be actually renderings from individual artists, but most of them are directly from the website itself. So we're just going to get started, and right off the bat, we've done this a couple times. If you want to start in true scale, take your mannequin and drop them in the scale gizmo here, and it will bring it into your scene at a full scale. So we're just going to check that mark. I'm actually going to reorient the reference images here. Another reason why I chose the Starship is that it's a radial symmetric object, so it's going to be a little bit quicker to create as well. So we're just going to position our person here, and we're going to make this thing at full scale. Now, some of you might have found out or might have discovered that Gravity Sketch does have a boundary, or at least a clipping point to where you can see visibly. So it's very possible, because of the size of this Starship, that we might it might extend beyond the clipping point. If so, then we're just going to go straight visual and not make it at scale, because it's just going to be too large. But we'll see here. So we've got our human, and we have a measurement here. It's 115 meters high. And so if we get out our measuring stick, I think we need... So I'm just going to do a quick conversion and find out how many feet that is. Let's see. 15 meters, 2 feet. Looks like that is 377.29 feet. So I'm just going to scale down really small. And let's see here. Okay, go back. 377.2 feet. So we just point there. 377.2. Oops. I have to click it. There. It's a little... Alright, 376. It's a little tricky to get that. So that's about the height. And I don't think we'll get any clipping with this. It seems like it's still, yeah, so that'll work. And then we're going to take our primitive shapes here and just make it the same height. So starting at the bottom. Oh, that's pretty close. Move it up. And that's about the height that we're working with. Wow, very large. Okay, so now we just have that as reference, but I actually want to put it in the center of my scene. So I'm actually going to make another cylinder, and with the grid turned on, so that I have my cylinder in the middle, in the center of my scene. And see, with the grid density down. There we go, center of the scene. Move that up. Oops. Turn grid off. Close. All right, that's good enough, I think. And then I think we're just gonna have to eyeball it. So we can take this reference image. I'm gonna take these. So because we have such a small person, we're gonna keep them small. Move them out here. We're actually gonna scale all of these reference images up. And first things first, always just create a quick layer for our reference images. Place them in there. Add another layer. I'm just going to make this sketch. Go back to reference. And so I want to take this image here, and I'm going to use this as the reference for the shape of the okay. That's really there we go. Move this over. Try and center it. Excuse me. Right. Okay. Seems to be mostly center. Okay. Here we are. Okay, then we're just going to pull out cylinder to the width of the rocket there, and there we are. And then I'm just going to turn on planar, take my sketch tool, align it with the axis here, turn off my reference images, oops, sketch. So we got that, and I'm going to change it to like a bright color so I can see it better. And then I'm actually going to turn my references back on just so I can see it. And all we're doing is, let me turn mirror on. Just tracing out the shape of these fins here. There we go. Drawing out that shape. I'm just going to tighten that up just a little bit. There we are. Just adding some more points to get these nice and sharp. Okay, and then we just got some fins down here. There we go. So we have the shape roughly blocked out here. The next step that we want to do is, this is obviously broken up into sections. So we have the actual Starship here, and then from about this half down is essentially the rocket portion of the Starship that basically thrusts it into the atmosphere. And so we're going to build those as separate pieces. And let's see here. Yeah, so that's the super heavy component there. There we go. Turn off my reference, and I'm actually gonna. We actually have this cylinder on the reference. So we're gonna put that in the sketch as well. And we have the human on reference. Actually, I'm gonna make another layer for the human. Put it there. And so now I'm looking up at the full size of the rocket, which is pretty amazing. And let's turn the planer off. So now I can take the banana, teleport around my scene, walk around, see, you know, I basically have a full-sized rocket in front of me, which is pretty crazy to look at. And so this is just the building blocks, and this sort of blocks in the shape of the ship, and we can get full scale. We can put a bunch of people around here and see just like, you know, basically the scale of people compared to the rocket. So just delete those for now. So I'm going to bring back my reference because I still need it for this portion here. So we got our point, and what we want to do is extend there we are. And if we smooth this, you can see we get the shape that we're looking for. And then we can, all we need to do is just turn on collapse polygons, and we should be able to just collapse all of these. Let me just see here. We'll see. We'll try and redo that. Ooh, oopsies. Okay. We'll just need to redo that. Okay. Something wacky's going on here. Okay, I'm kind of stuck, so I just need a moment here, everybody.
So I'm just relaunching Gravity Sketch because I ran into a little bit of an issue there. I don't know what was going on. Something with the polygons collapsing, and then it brought me into the measuring tool for some reason. So
I'm going to try and fire up that sketch again. And we're also just going to quickly save it, which is probably really smart to do. I'm going to save it to the cloud, and this will be something we can check out later. So, SpaceX. All right. Now that we've saved it,
turn on smooth head camera again as well. All right, and we're back.
Okay. Have that deleted. And what I was trying to do is see, low poly, turn that off. And then return on snap. Should be able to snap all of these to the center. I'm just doing it manually now. And we'll see if this gives us bad geometry. If it does, then we'll have to try something else. Bring the points in the center. So what I'm doing right now is I've got snap turned on, and what that does is that allows you, when you're in edit mode, you can snap to other points on other objects. So right now I'm snapping this point to this control point on this stroke. So we'll see what this does when we smooth it. Okay. Seems to work fine, which is good. I'm also going to make another layer. Call it surface. Just put that in there. Turn off sketch. Turn off reference. Ooh. Yeah, so that's not good. So there's really crazy stuff going on here. So as soon as I move that, it did a weird thing. So I'm just going to reopen Gravity Sketch and try a different route.
It's too many points collapsing in on each other. So
I'm just going to reopen it. I think if we can bring it to like some sort of quad, it might be better. turn on the grid, we can make plane merge with that. Now I'm going to do a collapse polygons technique here. Okay, I'm going to turn off grid for this. Actually, here we go. Turn grid off. Let's just see if we can close this up. So it's probably not the ideal geometry, but it's kind of the quick and dirty way. Okay, just extending these out. Connecting the rest of these. I think if I turn on, there we go. Extend that. it's probably not the best geometry, but that's what we've got there. I'm going to turn on the reference again, just so we can get it a little more aligned. All right, there we go. And then what we can do is we can actually just take this and extend it just to where the Starship ends, and then create a duplicate. Delete all of these. Extend that. Create another duplicate. Extend it all the way down. Should probably just one more. Oops. There we are. Extend that upward. And there we go. So now we blocked out the fuselage of the rocket here, and we're now going to move into the fins. So I think probably we should also change the environment. You can make this look a little more pleasing. Something a little more realistic. So if you're not familiar with the workspaces or the environments in Gravity Sketch, you can go to the sky, which I think is already the right color here, and then we're just going to go to the horizon, make it just a little brighter, lighter blue, slightly there, and then we're just going to make the ground darker, maybe like a really dark green, maybe. I think we'll just do gray. Just do like a dark gray there. And if we make this reflective, then it's reflecting a little bit of the environment. We can also make it brighter as well. Okay. Yeah, I think that's best. And so we can give it a little platform. I think that'll help as well. I'm just going to call it platform. We go to primitives. And then I'm going to turn on the grid here. Grid density is really small when you're working at full scale. Here's our platform, and I'm just going to lock that so we're not messing with that. Great. Just one more edge loop. There we go. Okay. Now these sections here are dark, so they're going to be more of a matte color, and they're going to be dark. So we're just going to make them so. And then we're going to turn our reference imagery back on here. And I think we need to reference some of our other images here, so looking here. I think I can probably, so I'm going to create a new layer, call it ortho. And I'm actually going to put the large reference image there and turn that off because I want to use that only sometimes. I want to be able to see these without seeing that. So these images are straight from the SpaceX website, by the way. So these should be the most accurate representations that we have access to of the Starship. So just looking here. This is another great one. Okay. Here's another good one to look at as well for comparison. Okay. So we've got one half of this with like some sort of shielding. So we'll have to design that in. So I think what we'll do is just looking here. I think we're going to make the fins and the mirror turned on, make sure that's on. And then we're going to create a cube. Make sure we have the correct material selected. And we're going to turn our grid on. Yeah, there we go. And so what we can do is we can convert this to a sub-D object, delete those faces, and turn grid off now since everything's aligned, and merge these pieces together. And so if we turn on our reference or ortho image, we can follow exactly what is going on here. So we're going to move these points down. Move this point out, down and over. Move that point up. Move that point down. And now we've got the shape of our top fins there. And so if we smooth it, it's kind of blobby at the moment, which works for us in some respect. But we need to sharpen up some of these angles here. So we're just going to add some subdivisions here. Actually, I'm just thinking here what the best way is to do this. Maybe it's top. Or is it? Oh. I'm not sure what this is. Oh. Seems our reference images got misaligned here, but that's okay. We've already sketched out how we want it to line up, so. I think we're just going to delete that and add yeah, I think that's probably might be the better way to go. So we're just going to go back into edit mode, turn off that, and get it back to low poly mode, and then turn on our sketch, and I think this will be a better way, using these points. I think will make more sense. So there we go. Turn off sketch. And now, if we there we go. So now the flat end is this end here. That's what I was more looking for. Nice. And then we're just going to move these down just a little bit, make it match the sketch. And there we go. I'm just seeing what this does here if I spread these out. If I maybe select the whole face. No, I don't think I want that. Just I think I'll probably just move it out. Like that. There we go. And if you move this whole portion out, you can get sort of this curvature. All right. That's fairly close, I would say. And then we're going to make these black. That one has more of a steeper angle. Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, that's good. And then we will see here. Let me just check some comments, because I've been going here without looking at the comments very much yet. So let me just double check those. Let's see here. Let's see. Frank, can you import a piece of pattern mesh, like lattice structure or diamond? So 3D meshes, that would be really kind of difficult to do. But you could bring in an image that has like a mesh and then warp it over. There's no promise that it would lay down exactly the way it should, but that is one way to get the effect with like a PNG sort of mesh image. And I'm assuming you're asking about the this region here of the ship. Also, a good recommendation on changing the title. I think some searchability on that would make it better. Well, we also added it in the description, but so yeah, we'll be changing the title as well and everything. Let's see here. In fact, let me just do that really quickly. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're just gonna finish this up because there's not too many more parts here. I would like to pull from some of these here as well, but we'll just keep moving along. So another thing we need to do is we need to split this ship in half, but not before we add these wings on the sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to select both these. I'm going to go into face mode and extrude out the side. And what I really should do is delete half of this entire ship and mirror it. So we're going to attempt that here. going to mirror that. And there we go. Let's see, maybe I can do an extrusion. Collapse. Actually, hold on. There we go. And then fill the hole this way. And then all we need to do is have a collapse point selected. There we go. Okay, now we have it mirrored. So anything we do on one side will happen on the other side. So I'm going to switch to face mode, but not without first turning on sketch. Keep forgetting that we have that sketch. And then I'm going to create some subdivisions here. We'll start with just 2. And I'm going to go to face mode and extrude outward. And then what I'm going to do next is go into low poly mode, go back to points, I'm not sure why I can't see the sketch anymore. Oh, there it is. Align that with the sketch. And then go back to smooth mode. And I'm just going to pull these points in much closer. So you have a nice sharp fin. I'm going to get a tighter see if we can get, there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to split this in half. So we're going to take, duplicate it. We're going to make it dark. We're going to remove the, let's see, make one of them dark. There we go. So it looks crazy right now. So we're going to add I'm going to call it dark. And we're going to we're going to take the dark piece. Add it there. Turn it off. And then delete all of the faces that aren't going to be dark. So deleting that. Deleting all of those. Moving the points. This is a technique that we used for the kayak as well, and it's really good for doing two-tone workflows. And so if we bring back the dark, sorry, I'm actually making that that should be the reflective, and this is going to be the dark. Got it flipped, but that's okay. And then we don't really need this other side here. So we're just deleting all those points because we don't need them. Okay, that's looking good. So we're kind of just guessing the shape here, the way it curves around. We actually want these to continue all the way up to the seam line. Let's see how much of this we can grab. Let's see. Just going to edit the wing here. Select edge loops. Let's see if we can get a better angle here. Turn off edge loops. So we got like a nice little part line there. So let's turn off our sketch and see how this looks. Yeah, it's looking good. There we go. Yeah, it looks like that is actually covering over the nose in this area here. That's not going to help. There we go. And we're just going to fold underneath. Take those. It's all just for looks. Okay. We're getting so close. Just going to push that back, hide that. You don't need any of that to be shown. And I think what we can do is I'm just going to make a few curves. And I'm going to simplify, increase the size, change the shape. Turn off end caps, connect them together. And we're just going to go ahead and make these window details. We can change the thickness like right on the fly. Square them off. Okay. And then we're just gonna yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Move that in, in there. And we can shorten these. These out. Just bring these in. And same with these. All right, so there's that detail. We're going to do select edge loops. That's good. Select edge loops again. We're going to do the same here. Actually, not before we extrude this out, but we need to add another edge loop here. So we're just going to bring that face out. Let's see. Right. Here we are. And then we just need one more on this side. Face mode. This is going to be a little bit more guessing. So we just need right. Just checking some comments here. All right, you just look. Let's see. Okay. All right. Gonna bring in, so it needs to be narrower. We just have Yeah, there we go. Just need to add another edge loop there just to make it even. And technically we have all these coming out, so we need to extend these out here. Connect the points. And now it's matching with the other fin that we've created. Okay. So now that we've created that section, we can now let's see. Bring all of this in. And then I'm just going to select edge loops, bring this all up. Do the same here. Edge loops. Edge loops. And there we are. Really only the last bit is these fins in the bottom, and then we're pretty much done. So let's just get that part. I should probably make this brighter too, because it is more of a brighter color. Okay. All right. We can also bring in a SpaceX logo on here once we're done here. So I'm just trying to think the best way to do this. I'm thinking we're just going to create a separate sub-D object. Just connect it, just build it. And then we're gonna extrude it out, connect it on those bottom sides as well. Now we're gonna do that. Extend it upwards. Okay. Guess it needs to come out more. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to bake the mirror of that and then mirror it. And then I'm going to get out the rotate tool, rotate our object, totally guessing here. And then what I'm going to do is combine and then I'm going to take my rotate tool again, actually put on the center one, rotate at 180 degrees, move it into place, and there you go. And lastly, I'm just going to grab really quickly a PNG of the SpaceX logo. I'm going to wrap it. And this is cool because I can save it to my folder on landing pad, and then I'll be able to access it immediately. So if I go where is the file? Oh, I got it. Okay. Just need to go here. Desktop. Drop it there. Oops, need to log in again, I think. Here we go, log in. And then drop it into the folder here. So if I go to my reference images, cloud reference, space, SpaceX, it should load up in here. Ooh. So now we have the PNG in the scene, so I could just place it here like that. But maybe it would be cooler to wrap it. So if I grab this, if I place a surface here, actually, matter of fact, if I take this tube, and I just delete everything outside of here. Just all of it. Delete it, and then just delete half of it. Okay, so it's the same material. I could even make it a different color, like this color. But I want to apply that SpaceX material to it. Okay, well that didn't work very well. So I think probably what we'll do is just do a okay, it was mirrored. That's the problem. So we're going to turn off that mirror. So now we've got a nice surface. So we can like basically warp the text around our object here. And there we go. Probably need to stretch it a little more. I think it's a little squished. And then probably want to shrink it just a little bit. So now it's like way off. It's okay, we can... And we can just align it. There we go. So now it's wrapping. And so I'm just going to turn off the reference images here. Turn off ortho. And so you can see that we've got the SpaceX Starship here. And we even have it in full scale. So I can come down here to the human scale and look at this thing in full size, which is pretty crazy. You can use the banana transport. Teleport around. The thing looks massive. You can also change the environment. Maybe get some different looks here. It's also kind of cool. Yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you learned something. You can change the environment colors here too. Get a different look, different feel. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you learned something. I'm going to check the comments one more time before we sign off here. Let's see. You can kind of play with the mid-tone colors there. It's kind of interesting too. But yeah, just want to thank everybody for watching. Again, what we did here is we did some sub-D modeling. So we started with a very simple cylinder and just was making extrusions for these fins, duplicated it to get this sort of black two-tone effect here, and then just some more sub-D for the fins here in the bottom. Obviously, you could spend just a lot more time on this, blocking it in and getting all the little details. But I just wanted to show how quickly you can mock up a fairly detailed rocket model here. And so let me just double check these comments. Let's see. Yeah, importing phone scans, that would be cool. That's something I was looking into, was how to do scans with just your phone and then bring in that data to refine. I think that's actually a workflow we'll be covering at some point in the near future, because it's definitely something you can do. You can get actually a manual camera for your phone. It's just an app, because it's important to have, for scanning at least, it's important to have photos that don't change exposure or any of the settings. And then there's plenty of free software out there that one is Mesh Lab or Mesh Mixer, I believe, that basically is a free software that takes your photos and converts it into a 3D scan. So let's see, project curves in GS. You could do a similar thing to project curves. I don't know if this answers your question or not, but if you take the stroke tool and I want to have a curve follow if I want to draw something but I want to follow the curvature of this tube, I just go to the stroke tool and I select the projection mode, and it will project my stroke onto any nearby 3D object. So I can draw curves right on the surface of this tube here. And I can just scribble all over it, basically. So I don't know if that's what you were asking. It's what I thought of when you asked that question, so I hope that maybe solves your issue there. So someone's asking why GS decided to use the banana for the transport tool, which is a great question. I believe, as I've heard from the engineers, that any time that there is sort of a new tool that they don't know the name for or don't have like a design for the icon, the default is a banana. So that's from the engineers. I'm not sure why, but they just decided on that. So I think it's funny. But it probably will change in the future as we evolve and as we make more updates. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody again once more for joining and for watching live. If you missed the beginning of the video, feel free to go and scroll back and watch the beginning. I think you can actually rewind even while the live is going. So if you want to go back to the beginning, you don't really care about watching as I work, you can just watch from the beginning. So thank you, everybody, and make sure to tune in every Wednesday. We do these live demos every Wednesday, and it's always something different. So make sure you catch us next week. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.